Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herald here on Badlands Media. I am your host, John Herold, and I got a pretty good show lined up for you today, I think, in my biased opinion. Lots of news to go through. No interview, unfortunately. I was trying to get Gabrielle on, but she has some other interview that she's doing. So a couple housekeeping items first. Number one, there will be no Daily Herald tomorrow or Friday. I am going to be away from work. I'm checking out for a little bit. I just need a couple days off, and I figured Easter weekend would be the best time to do it, especially with GART coming up and whatnot. So just want to make you guys aware, no Daily Herald tomorrow or Friday. But speaking of GART, tomorrow there is going to be an exclusive live stream for ticket holders. And if you haven't yet, I would encourage you to get your tickets. Single day tickets are now available. Also virtual. Virtually get access to the exclusive chat, which everybody loves. You'll get to engage with the panelists. You get to ask questions to the panelists. You get behind the scenes footage, and you'll get first dibs on Deadwood tickets, which are now available to ticket holders. So also on that exclusive live stream tomorrow, we are switching up kind of how we do our panels at this upcoming conference. We're going to do a little over half the panels as pairings, so just two people, and we need help determining what pairings to do. So you guys can help us pick our pairings. And we're doing that tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern on that exclusive live stream. So please get your virtual tickets and come help us out. And I think, is that all the housekeeping I have? I think it is. So we're going to get to a couple of our sponsors real quick, and then we'll get right to it. First up, we got Rattlesnake Meats. And I love these guys. If you guys haven't tried them yet, their meat is fantastic. Has this ever happened to you? You buy something from an American company thinking it's made in the USA, but it turns out it's just from some sweatshop overseas. It's even worse with beef. The label may say product of USA, but that only means it was packaged here. There's no guarantee it was raised here, and chances are it wasn't. Rattlesnake Meat Company has the solution. Buy directly from the rancher. 100% American beef, born, raised, and processed in Kansas, USA, aged for 21 days for maximum flavor. Don't be deceived by mislabeled foreign beef. Go to badlandsmedia.tv/meat. Use promo code Badlands20 for $20 off all American premium beef from Rattlesnake Meat Company. Support the American rancher and tell the multinational beef cartel, don't tread on me. That's badlandsmedia.tv/meat, promo code Badlands20. I know CanCon just got his meat in the packet, in the mail yesterday or something. So I'm sure you're going to be seeing some videos of him grilling that stuff up. But seriously, their beef it tastes different when it's like natural, organic, and all that stuff. None of the mRNA BS. It's super, super good. So I would encourage you guys to check them out. And then one more sponsor, Safe Streets. Now's the perfect time to secure your home and your loved ones. Get a free ADT smart home security system valued at $1,200 from ADT authorized provider Safe Streets. Plus, get a Google Nest doorbell camera at no cost and a $200 Visa gift card from Safe Streets, the most trusted name in home security, with more than 106,000 4.9-star Trustpilot reviews. Visit getsafestreets.com/badlands or call 925-529-6541. That's 925-529-6541 to speak to a representative today. $99 customer installation charge and purchase of new monitoring service required for the termination fee to apply. All right. And how are you guys doing in the chat? I'll do my best to keep up with it best I can. Yeah. So hope you guys are having a great day. No updates on Doge so far. I mean, they just updated it yesterday, so I wasn't really expecting anything. But there were a bunch, like a flurry of executive orders and actions. I wasn't even going to read through them all, but I decided to just do the fact sheets. So we'll go through those instead. But just to show you what we got, we hadn't had anything since April. Oh, here, let's do it this way. We hadn't had anything since April 9th or 11th. And then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them in the last 24 hours. So we'll kind of pick our way through a few of these, and then get to some actual new stuff going on and go from there. So first up, we got what Trump is doing to lower prescription drug prices. And I always think this is a funny one because it's like every presidential administration tries to take credit for lowering drug prices. And the Biden one was the most hypocritical. And by the way, we had a Biden sighting yesterday, and it was as great as we could possibly expect. I miss that guy and him public speaking because you know there's somebody out there that's worse at public speaking than I am, and it's Joe Biden. But anyway, Joe Biden, when he got into office, he canceled Trump's executive order, which lowered the cost of insulin and the prescription drug price or whatever, but the insulin was a big one. And then like a year later, he reissued pretty much the same thing to lower the price of insulin. And then he took credit for lowering the price of insulin, even though Trump was the one who did it first. It's stuff like that I just think is comical and hypocritical. And the media never really calls him out for that. But anyway, Trump put this executive order out. He signed an EO to expand on the historic efforts of his first term to lower prescription drug prices. It directs the Department of Health and Human Services to take steps to significantly reduce drug prices for American patients. It also basically asks them to create transparent, competitive, and fair prescription drug market for American consumers. Transparency is a big one when it comes to the medical industry. It's so darn expensive. The order increases the availability of generics and biosimilars, which can be as much as 80% cheaper than brand alternatives. So obviously a good move. Looking forward to seeing it actually implemented. I'm not a big fan of the pace of some of this stuff. I talked about this last night on Only Lands, which if you missed it, I would encourage you to do it. It's a fun show. But we're seeing a flurry of executive orders in these first 100 days, might even be over 100 days now. But the time it takes for these to be implemented and carried out, that's what's frustrating to me. And I keep going back to that free speech one, just knowing how banned we are and censored we are on most social media platforms. Anyway, let's keep going. We got another one here. Trump ensures national security and economic resilience through Section 232 actions on processed critical minerals and derivative products. So I'm not even probably going to read this one, but basically they're doing an investigation into where we get our imported critical minerals, rare earth elements and whatnot. And they're going to find the vulnerabilities and figure out either trade remedies or whatever it might be to remedy it, to fix it. So obviously a good one. Something like this is something he did prior. Like we've had like 2 or 3 executive orders similar to this one, and he's just kind of further bolstering it. We have this. He's permitting technology into the 21st century for government efficiency. Today, he issued a memorandum to ensure federal government is leveraging modern technology to effectively and efficiently conduct environmental reviews and evaluate permits. It directs the federal agencies to make maximum use of technology in the environmental review and permitting process for infrastructure projects of all kinds. And there was a video that was floating around and a script. You know what? I should find that so we can do it so I don't forget. Because I want to read this. It was a transcript of a speech given by the director of the Office of Science, Technology, and Policy. And it's pretty darn interesting, but I think it's being a little taken out of context. I just got to find where it's at. So hold for processing while I just had it up. Why can I not find it now? You know what? Hold on. I know where it's at. Somebody sent it to me. I'll just grab that. And then we'll go through it later. There we go. Okay. Anyway, so that's a good one. We have Trump enforcing requirement of cost-effective commercial solutions and federal contracts. I mean, all this stuff is just, it's common sense things. Common sense to federal procurement, getting rid of the globalist supply chains, whatnot. This one's weird to me because the fact this wasn't already a thing is borderline treasonous. Trump prevents illegal aliens from obtaining Social Security Act benefits. If you remember 3 weeks ago, a month ago maybe, Elon Musk was on stage with, I don't remember the guy's name, some Indian guy, and they were going through how many illegal aliens the last like 4 or 5, 6 years have gotten Social Security numbers. And in addition to that, the benefits that come with it, Social Security benefits, and then also how they were registering to vote in our elections. It's kind of criminal, guys. Like, they're not legal citizens, yet they're getting social security numbers. This is common sense. I don't get how this wasn't a thing already. But anyway, it's directing the administration to ensure ineligible aliens are not receiving funds from Social Security Act programs. In fact, you have to write an order for that is nuts. And then again, cuts costs, brings government to the people, more executive orders to just make things more efficient, having to do with federal office locations. I think this is rescinding a few things. Yeah, eliminating the needless counterproductive location restrictions. President Trump is making it easier for federal agencies to bring their services to the American people. So a lot of executive actions, nothing like super duper interesting. But anyway, this is the one that everybody's been talking about online today. Remarks by Director Kratsios at the Endless Frontiers Retreat. We're going to be talking about this in the Power Hour tonight, and actually it's going to be pre-recorded, so some more housekeeping items. Bernie Bright won't be on it. I'll be joined by Ghost, and we're going to be pre-recording. But this is one of the things we're going to talk about, because in here he says, I just got to find it. I'll word search it. Right here. Our technologies permit us to manipulate time and space. They leave distance annihilated, cause things to grow, and improve productivity. A lot of people online are taking this as, yeah, this guy that's in the Trump administration, the director of the Office of Science, Technology, and Policy, is saying that we can bend time and space, manipulate time and space. I think they're taking a little out of context. If you actually read the whole thing and what he's saying, he doesn't mean literally like we can time travel and stuff. But we'll talk about that in the Power Hour tonight. So make sure you guys tune into that. All right. This is probably the biggest piece of news, I would say, from right today, like this morning. This just came out before the show here. Judge Boasberg finds probable cause exists to hold Trump administration in contempt for violating orders on deportation flights. U.S. District Judge James Boasberg ruled Wednesday that probable cause exists to hold him in contempt. The judge is still deciding punishment and the next steps he may take, and is giving the Justice Department an opportunity to respond. The situation has been a major political and legal flashpoint for the Trump White House in its efforts to carry out a historic deportation campaign. And this is what Judge Boasberg wrote. The court ultimately determines that the government's actions on that day demonstrate a willful disregard for its order, sufficient for the court to conclude that probable cause exists to find the government in criminal contempt. He's going to try to refer them for criminal prosecution or something. The court does not reach such conclusion lightly or hastily. Indeed, it has given defendants ample opportunity to rectify or explain their actions. He added, none of their responses have been satisfactory. Yeah, maybe not satisfactory to you, but this is nuts. And so I'm assuming, knowing who Judge Boasberg is, or who we think he is, doesn't seem like a great guy, doesn't seem like a Trump guy, certainly not a fan of Trump or Make America Great Again. I believe he's Obama appointed. This guy's, let's just say, deep state, establishment, whatever. This guy is going to take this all the way to whatever actions are available to him to hold the Trump administration in contempt. He's going to do it. Criminal contempt, criminal referrals, whatever. But is the Trump DOJ going to prosecute the Trump administration? No. Like, what could he possibly do by doing this? Like, he has no way to enforce whatever he's going to try to do. That's why I keep coming back to. So it's kind of a nothing burger, but it's interesting to watch play out and watch both sides react and freak out to it. This whole story, especially about this one specific guy, Garcia, there's a lot of misinformation floating around about this whole thing. And it goes all the way back to 2019. Ash did a pretty good job explaining it last night, but there's misinformation from everybody. And regardless, he's not coming back. Attorney General Pam Bondi said it. Bukele said it. Trump has pretty much implied it. This guy's not coming back. But this is what Pam Bondi said. She backed the Trump administration's stance on Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia's deportation, saying he is not coming back to our country. If he wanted to send him back, we would have given him a plane ride back, Bondi said, referring to El Salvador's Bukele. There was no situation ever where he was going to stay in this country. And she added, he's in El Salvador, and that's where the president plans to keep him. He's not a legal citizen. So I can't even believe there's a legal battle over bringing this guy back. Like, we are wasting taxpayer dollars in court on behalf of somebody who's not even a citizen of this country. It's so stupid. He's not coming back. They can't force him to come back. The judge is overstepping. But again, we got to outline the legal constitutional limits for all three branches of the government. So it'll continue. I was going to read this, but I don't know if I really care. It was more so just to highlight some of the narratives the media's flowing around. Tempers flare as few Republicans hold in-person town halls. There's a town hall. I think Grassley was there, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and just the way they wrote this piece is nuts. I wouldn't be surprised if the people that attended and like were upset at the senators, congressmen, they were paid actors probably. Who knows? But like just even this line in Georgia, Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene's highly scripted event. Like was it? I didn't watch it. Was it actually highly scripted though? I don't know. But I'm not going to read through the rest of that. We do have this from Pam Bondi, though. She is suing the Maine Department of Education. I think this is a good move.
Today, the Department of Justice is announcing a civil lawsuit against the Maine Department of Education. The state of Maine is discriminating against women by failing to protect women in women's sports. Pretty basic stuff. This is a violation of Title IX. The Department of Justice will not sit by when women are discriminated against in sports. This is about sports. This is also about these young women's personal safety. I've met many of these women throughout the past weeks and months, and what they have been through is horrific. We have exhausted every other remedy. We tried to get Maine to comply. We don't like standing up here and filing lawsuits. We want to get states to comply with us. That's what this is about. We have repeatedly notified Maine of its infractions and urged them to remedy the situation to protect women. We've stripped grants from Maine through other departments, and we are going to continue to fight for women.
AKA Lou 9 says, now my Congressman Eric Sorensen posted how this Maine situation is a waste of money. It's not an issue according to Sorensen. Is that a Republican or Democrat? CanCon, the SSAEO is a voter roll purge, in my opinion. Yeah, you're probably right. Probably right. And to be fair to this whole Maine situation and them still allowing men and women's sports, their governor is a man who's pretending to be a woman, or at least kind of looks that way. But yeah, I think they're the only state that's really pushing back on the whole transgender thing. So, okay, AKA Lou says a gay Democrat. Well, then now their comments make sense. Yeah, Badlander fan says, missed you on OnlyLands. I don't think, has he joined yet? Or he was there on, were you there last Tuesday? I mean, I personally didn't miss him that much, but. Scooter, feels like we left a comedy show to watch the news. We will need to catch up on the first 15 minutes. Did see John say no Daily Herald Thursday, Friday? Yep, no Daily Herald Thursday, Friday. I'll talk about that again at the end. Okay, let's go to this. Gavin Newsom is suing Trump over this tariffs.
Today, I announced a lawsuit on behalf of the state of California suing the Trump administration. California is the largest manufacturing state in our union, one of the largest trading partners around the globe. No state will be impacted more than the state of California as it relates to the unilateral authority that's being asserted by the Trump administration to impose the largest tax increase in modern American history. Today,
a couple things. First of all, his voice sounds a little rough. He sounds kind of like Alex Jones as he's speaking here. I'll play one more time just so you can hear it.
I announced a lawsuit on behalf of the state of California suing the Trump administration. California is the largest manufacturing state in our union, one of the largest trading partners.
Is that like a thing? Is that how you get successful as a podcaster? Because now that Gavin Newsom is a podcaster, you just have to like get that raspy voice and start to sound like Alex Jones, and then you make it big. I mean, I could try. I could start doing that. But this is so stupid. The individual states, while I am a believer and an advocate for smaller government and the states being in more control of how things are done, they don't have any control over tariffs. That's the president's thing. and I believe it used to be Congress's thing, and then they gave it to the president. Now they've been trying to get it back, at least some of them. But yeah, I don't think this is going to go well for him. I don't think he's going to win this. He's probably going to get a liberal judge to take it some distance in court, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Can someone pierce Newsom's ears? Oh, I'm not going to read the rest of that. Never mind. That's a naughty one. All right. Yeah, but yeah, he looks terrible, sounds terrible. I haven't seen any conservatives on his podcast recently, so that's good news. Clutchworks, small government with a clueless citizenry scares the hell out of me. Scares me too, man. But we just do our best to educate ourselves, educate our friends and family, take the government back at the local level, do what we can. We got this post from JD Vance yesterday. I'm going to read it, and it's kind of sparked off a little bit of some debates yesterday, I would say, online. So I think it's notable. Consider that Joe Biden allowed approximately 20 million illegal aliens into our country. This placed extraordinary burdens on our country. Our schools, hospitals, housing, and other essential services were overwhelmed. On top of that, many of the illegal aliens committed violent crimes or facilitated fentanyl and sex trafficking. That is the situation we inherited. The American people elected the Trump administration to solve this problem. The president has successfully stopped the inflow of illegal aliens, and now we must deport the people who came here illegally. To say the administration must observe due process is to beg the question, what process is due is a function of our resources, the public interest, the status of the accused, the proposed punishment, and so many other factors. To put it in concrete terms, imposing the death penalty on an American citizen requires more legal process than deporting an illegal alien to the country of origin. When the media and the far left obsess over an MS-13 gang member and demand that he be returned to the United States for a third deportation hearing, what they're really saying is they want the vast majority of illegal aliens to stay here permanently. Here's a useful test. Ask the people weeping over the lack of due process what precisely they propose for dealing with Biden's millions and millions of illegals. And with reasonable resource and administrative judge constraints, does their solution allow us to deport at least a few million people per year? If the answer is no, they've given away their game. They don't want border security. They don't want us to deport the people who've come into our country illegally. They want to accomplish through fake legal process what they failed to accomplish politically, the ratification of Biden's illegal migrant invasion. President Trump and I will not stand for it. He's making a really good point. Like, I'm not arguing that. I think this is a really good point. And I'm not even like I'm very neutral on JD Vance. Like I don't dislike him. I don't overly like him. And I'm kind of that way with most people. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan. And there was a comment to this that I want to read his response. And then I want to show you, oh man, do I have that pulled up? I think I do. Hold on. Let me double check because I want to read. There's something else I wanted to read about this. Dang it. Maybe I didn't pull it up and I can't remember what it was. That's annoying. Maybe it'll come back to me. Anyway, so this is a response from this Ziad Gilani or whatever. JD, if someone's really a bad hombre, you can give them a trial and prove it. Saying you don't have to prove it means you're okay with deporting innocent people. Treating people like throwaways is no different than the elites in this country did to your own family over generations. And this is his response. Again, you're not even addressing the issue. Biden overwhelmed the system with illegal migration. Is your proposed solution to give a jury trial to all 20 million illegal aliens, more if you count those already here? And of course, our very robust jury trial system produces errors, so I'm not okay with deporting innocent people any more than I'm okay with sentencing innocent people. What I am okay with is the reality that any human system will produce errors. Further, I accept the actual trade-off between not enforcing the law and enforcing the law, and I choose the latter despite the inevitable errors. You are hiding behind due process while ignoring that your actual solution means the ratification of a Biden border crisis that was rejected at the ballot box. So, again, making good points, all this stuff, due process, we can't allow every single one of these illegal aliens in our country to have a full jury trial. Like, it would be impossible. But even beyond any of this, the president has the authority to implement his agenda. He has the authority to protect our borders. He has the mandate and the duty to keep the United States like a sovereign country. And if there are people here that are not legal, but they are leeching off our system, and we allow that to continue, then we aren't sovereign. You have to have a border to have a country. You have to. And in order to implement that border, like, you have to get rid of the people that aren't supposed to be here. That's not just his authority. That is his duty as president. And that's not even part of this argument that he's putting forth, but that is at the heart of the entire argument of all these cases. That Gaia Garcia, whatever his name is, whether he's a good dude, a barber, a father, he's not here legally. And that should be the way this works. If you come to this country illegally, then you are going to be removed. And it doesn't matter what fashion you're removed in. If you're sent to El Salvador, who cares? I don't care. If you're sent to Guam, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me anyway. If you follow the rules and come here legally, and you follow the legal process to become a citizen, then you're afforded the rights that legal citizens are afforded. Anything else other than that doesn't matter. Get them out of here. And no judge should be able to stop them. Oh, that's what I was going to show. I remember now. We have the Democrats going to try and save this guy. They're going to El Salvador. I can't remember this guy's name. Ugh. Do you guys remember the senator going to El Salvador? Or is he congressman? I don't remember. Oh, yeah, here it is. Senator Chris Van Hollen. Play it.
I'm here at the airport. I'm about to board my flight for San Salvador. The goal of this mission is to let the Trump administration, to let the government of El Salvador know that we are going to keep fighting to bring Abrego Garcia home until he returns to his family. I hope to meet with representatives of the government. I hope to have the chance to actually see Kilmar and see what his condition is. But we are going to keep fighting because this is a miscarriage of justice. The Supreme Court has ruled 9-0, that he was illegally taken out of the country and put in a prison in El Salvador. And this is about due process. This is about rule of law. What bullies do is they begin by picking on the most vulnerable. But if we get rid of the rule of law and due process in the United States, it's a short road from there to tyranny. I'm here.
This is so stupid. He's going to a foreign country to advocate for the release of somebody who's not a citizen of the country he represents. It's insane. Like, do you ever remember any stories of any of our government officials going to Russia to try to advocate for the release of people that were prisoners there during the Biden administration? I mean, none of that started happening until Trump got in office. Where were these people then? But this whole thing is so stupid. But it's great exposure for the Democrats. And man, I low-key personally hope that there's some sort of like withholding of information on this Garcia guy, like definitive evidence of him committing bad crimes that they haven't released yet. Because right now these people are going all in on this guy being wrongfully and illegally deported. And he's just some innocent guy, you know, trying to protect his families, do the best for his family, whatever. And I hope later, like after this is all said and done, they drop some sort of evidence that, yeah, this guy was not a good dude. We'll see what happens though. Okay, so yesterday Biden gave his first public speech. We talked about on the show how the left, the Democrats were like, yeah, this is a bad idea. We don't want you to be doing this, but he did it anyway. And of course, he said something absurd and racist. And I haven't even watched the full thing, but I'm sure it's full of plenty of clippable moments.
And I'd never seen hardly any black people in Scranton at the time when I was only going in fourth grade. And I remember seeing the kids going by at the time called colored kids on a bus going by.
Can't help himself. Love it. So we got, did you guys see this yesterday? Letitia James was referred for federal criminal probe over alleged mortgage fraud. If you guys are familiar with who she is best known for bringing the civil fraud case against Trump and the Trump Organization, accusing Trump and his adult children of inflating asset values to secure favorable loans and insurance terms. Remember, keep this in mind. A majority of the reason, a big reason that she went after the Trump and Trump Organization was because she accused them of doing things to secure favorable loans. Case was filed in 2022. The case ended in a major ruling in early 2024 when a New York judge found Trump liable for fraud and ordered him to pay over $450 million in penalties and interest. James personally oversaw the investigation and trial, which is now under appeal. She also played a key role in forcing Trump and his children to testify under oath. Let me show you what happened then. We had this. So it's, what's this guy's name? I can't remember the guy's name. Director Pulte. U.S. Director of Federal Housing, FHFA, is the one who's referred her for mortgage fraud. And what did she do? Let me show you. On August 17, 2023, so this is after she brought that case against Trump, she bought a house in Virginia and she labeled that as her principal residence. And she doubled down on it multiple times. In a Fannie Mae Freddie Mac form 3047 and in mortgage documents, she reaffirmed this would be her primary residence, despite being a statewide public office holder in the state of New York at the same time and primarily residing in the state of New York. And there's exhibits that are attached to this. Primary residence mortgages receive more favorable loan terms, including lower interest rates, than secondary residence mortgages. Lenders view secondary resident mortgages as significantly riskier, as a borrower is more likely to continue paying off a primary residence mortgage during any financial hardship. Interest rates on secondary resident mortgages are typically between 0.25 and 0.50% higher than their primary residence counterparts. However, this gap can widen depending on the lender. At the time, property purchase of the mortgage, she was the sitting AG of New York and is required by law to have her primary residence in the state of New York, even though her mortgage applications list her intent to have the Virginia property as her primary home. So she lied to get more favorable loan terms, the same thing she went after the Trump administration for. Isn't that nuts? Oh, did my microphone switch? Oh, you guys, you got to let me know when my mic's off. Or did I sound normal? Dang it. That's the one bad thing about not having a co-host. I just realized my microphone is off. And I was using my camera's microphone. Dang it. Does it sound different? I did sound normal? Okay. Well, that's good. And weird, because it said that I was on the wrong microphone. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard lately. But anyway, this is a hilarious case. I can't believe she was stupid enough to do that. Considering she was in the middle of bringing that case against a Trump organization, you would think that at that point, you wouldn't do the same exact crime you're accusing them of. They're either that stupid or she didn't think she'd get caught or something. It's insane. Okay, anyway, we'll keep going here. We got, the IRS whistleblower who testified on Hunter Biden's case set to become the acting commissioner. This is Gary Shapley. A while ago, a year ago, whenever it was that these came out, I went through and read through the testimony of both IRS whistleblowers, and they were really good. I mean, some juicy nuggets in there. I'm pretty sure there was other investigations into the Hunter Biden situation that, obviously with the pardons got thrown out, which, by the way, that's another story we haven't heard of in a while. What's going on with the auto pen situation? Didn't Trump name somebody to investigate the legal authority on that? Anyway, Shapley testified before Congress as part of the Republican-led probe into Hunter Biden's business affairs. Oh, another thing. Speaking of Hunter Biden, his business partner, Devin Archer, recently pardoned, or clemency, whatever that, I don't remember which one he got, but he is holding a speech or a talk, a roundtable or something in California the day after GART ends, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. Tickets are $60 or $90 or something. Alpha said he's going. And so if he's looking for somebody to go with him, because he doesn't have many friends in his area. He doesn't have many friends generally, that Alpha. But if you're in that area and want to go watch Devin Archer talk, that could be an interesting discussion. Anyway, in March, he was promoted to Deputy Chief of IRS Criminal Investigations. Another IRS investigator who testified, Joseph Ziegler, was moved to a senior advisor role in the IRS. So these guys who were whistleblowers, they were basically wrongfully persecuted within the Biden administration, kind of stonewalled. They were seeking justice, and the Trump administration is not only rectifying that, but giving them a promotion. So I think it's in San Diego, Bravest, I believe, or something like that. San Antonio. You know what? Let me, I think he texted it to me. Or no, I can put it in the chat. Hold on. Town Hall. Cinco de Mayo. I could probably share my screen. Hold for processing. I got to figure out how to share a Telegram chat screen. Okay. You guys see that? Town Hall Tell All. Monday, May 5th, 5:30 to 9. That's long. Dinner and drinks. Tickets $95. RSVP by April 30th. Westlake Village private residence. So there you go. Hit up Alpha on Twitter if you want to go with them. Okay, back to the news info. Let's see what we got. Okay, CIA expands focus. I love this story, by the way. CIA expands focus to target drug cartels with new counter-narcotics initiative. The CIA is expanding its counterterrorism efforts to focus on international drug cartels. Great news. But this is according to Deputy Director Michael Ellis. And this is why I love this story, because in my Devolution series, in part 23, I go through all these weird connections and weird things that were going on between all these key players and how it ties to the Q drops and all these things. And Michael Ellis's name came up multiple times. Like he was there from the Russiagate stuff and working with Ezra and Watnick there. And at the end of Trump's administration, he got brought back on to, I think he was going to be the attorney for, was it the NSA? No, I can't remember. But I mean, it was a pretty big role, and the Democrats freaked out about it. And he was kind of stonewalled a little bit by Nakasone. Chris Miller had to come in and be like, Nakasone, stop it, put him in here, play some. And then the second the Biden administration got in, the second he was inaugurated, he was placed on leave and then the next day fired, and he was out of there. And then he went over to Rumble, and he was Rumble's attorney for a while, like 4 years. And then here he is back at the CIA, deputy director under John Ratcliffe. So I think this is a in-the-know guy. As early as this week, the agency will establish the America's Counter-Narcotics Mission Center, which will combine personnel focused on counter-narcotics in the Western Hemisphere to streamline coordination and speed up operations. Ellis said the CIA plans to apply decades of expertise, all these things. I just think it's interesting that he's the one that's coming out talking about this. S. Heisler, article. Okay, you're talking about an article you told me about earlier, Devolution. This is something we're going to talk about on the Power Hour, and I'm going to talk about it here in a minute. So just hold for processing. We got this. DOJ letter questions legality of Mueller-era Russia prosecutions. This is one of the first things I've seen that's, I would say, noteworthy relating to the Russiagate binder, the Crossfire Hurricane declassification, the twice declassified Crossfire Hurricane documents. Interim U.S. Attorney Ed Martin sent a letter to Aaron Zielinski, a former deputy to Special Counsel Robert Mueller, raising serious concerns about the integrity and legality of prosecutions linked to the Trump-Russia investigation during Trump's first term. Zielinski, who led the prosecutions of Trump ally Roger Stone and 2016 campaign advisor George Papadopoulos, is now being asked to provide information and clarification and to meet with Martin, whose letter suggests Mueller team attorneys could face criminal liability. Love it. This is great. The letter sent Monday on Department of Justice letterhead cites recently declassified documents as evidence raising doubts about Zielinski's actions as a prosecutor under Mueller. Zielinski, now a partner at Zuckerman Spader, argued in a 2018 sentencing memo that Papadopoulos' false statements hindered efforts to potentially detain or arrest suspected Russian asset Joseph Mifsud, from whom Mueller described as a professor with ties to Russia. Mifsud allegedly told Papadopoulos in 2016 that Russia had damaging information on Hillary Clinton. These names are so complicated. Papadopoulos has long claimed that Mifsud was introduced to him by individuals connected to the U.S. government. According to Martin, FBI documents support that assertion, that he actually provided info that could have enabled authorities to challenge or apprehend Mifsud while he was in the U.S. If true, Martin argues, Zielinski misrepresented Papadopoulos as obstructing the probe and sent an innocent man to jail to bolster the narrative of Trump-Russia collusion. Do you think that's something they would do, guys? Lie to send Trump people to jail just to make it seem like Trump is more connected to Russia? I don't know. This might be a stretch. That was sarcasm, by the way. The request for a meeting with Zielinski aligns with an executive order signed by Trump on his first day in office, directing the government to address past weaponization of law enforcement. Martin has asked Zielinski to respond by April 25th to schedule a meeting. So this is the kind of stuff I like to see. We get an executive order asking the government or tasking the government to go after previous weaponization of government. Then we don't see anything for months. And now we have some movement. And it appears that they're actually doing it. That's what I want to see. That's what I'm waiting to see. And I'm waiting to see this with lots of executive orders and other things. I love seeing actual tangible movement that we can track where we know that we're going to get some sort of accountability from these last 8 years. Because we deserve that. And honestly, like I would be okay with a little more transparency about it too. That's one thing we're really not getting. We're getting transparency from Trump. I've said this so many times. Trump is great. We're getting lots of press conferences. He's an open book for the most part. But in terms of what the administration is doing, there's not a lot of transparency there. I would like to see more. But this is good. This is a good movement list. Yeah, Bravis, we should come up with a movement list. Crane Op, nice to see you, man. Says I will be at Deadwood one way or another. Crane Op, if I have to come down, pick you up and drive you up there, I will. We'll get you to Deadwood. But good to see you in the chat, man. He's probably in the sauna right now. He simul streams. He goes in the sauna and has a little iPad right outside the cracked window of that thing, and you watch the show. That's the dedication and commitment, and I appreciate that. Yesterday was a big day for the DoD because there was a couple people let go for leaking things. 2 of them. The first one, Dan Caldwell, a senior advisor to the U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, was removed from the Pentagon on Tuesday after being implicated in an investigation into unauthorized leaks from the Department of Defense, according to a U.S. official. Caldwell was placed on administrative leave for what the official described as an unauthorized disclosure. The official did not elaborate on what information was allegedly disclosed or to whom, and said only that the investigation remains active. A memo dated March 21st and signed by Hegseth's Chief of Staff Joe Casper called for a formal inquiry into recent unauthorized disclosures of national security information involving sensitive communications. This is why I wanted to have Gabrielle on, because this is a huge story, and I think it goes back to obviously the Signal chat group stuff that was going on. But I'll get there. The document also mentioned the potential use of a polygraph, though it is not clear whether Caldwell was subjected to one. While not widely known to the public, Caldwell has been a key figure behind the scenes advising Hegseth on a majority of policy issues. His role gained attention after the Atlantic published a leaked Signal message thread last month in which Hegseth identified Caldwell as the primary staff contact for the National Security Council during preparations for U.S. strikes on Houthi targets in Yemen. And you know what? I'm gonna read this next one too, and then I'll talk about it. Darren Selnick, the Pentagon's deputy chief of staff, was suspended and escorted from the building as part of the same leak investigation that led to the removal of senior advisor Dan Caldwell, according to an official familiar with the matter. The leaks under scrutiny involve sensitive military plans, including operations related to the Panama Canal, deployment of a second aircraft carrier to the Red Sea, a visit by Elon Musk to the Pentagon, and the reported pause in intelligence collection for Ukraine. A memo circulated in March. I already read that. Caldwell was named by Hegseth. Okay, so couple things on this. If this ties back to the Signal chat, this could be huge. Were they the ones who added Goldberg or whatever his name is from the Atlantic into that chat? Was it one of these guys? I mean, that is the narrative play they had on that. They were calling for Hegseth's firing over that. I mean, it was huge drama, huge story for a week. Like took up headlines for a week, that whole thing. If one of these guys did that, like this, man, could this be treason? Would this reach that level? I don't know. But what this really does show to me, all the trust the planners, and I'm not saying there's not a plan going on behind the scenes, but like the full control type stuff. Like full control means full, total, all the way control of everything. This proves that's not happening. If these 2 people were leaking information, that means there's some aspect of what's going on that you didn't have control over. The enemy still exists. The enemy is still trying to stop the Trump administration. And they're active. And they're probably kind of all over in the Trump administration. In my opinion, there's only so much control that you can have. Like at a certain point, even with some of the closest advisors and some of the cabinet level officials, I don't trust a majority of them. One, because I don't know them personally, but a lot, like there's a lot of neocons in here. Ron Paul did a short little 25-minute podcast yesterday, or at least it was posted yesterday. I don't know when he recorded it, but he was talking about how Trump's administration right now is littered with establishment neocons, like all over. And it's true. And I'm not saying Trump doesn't know what he's doing. That's not what I'm saying, because they might be there for a reason, but we also don't know that for sure. He might be taking advice from people. He might be doing favors for people. We don't know that. We don't know why Trump has put people in the positions he has. And so with that said, we should still be allowed to question that stuff. But this shows that there is less control than full control. Okay. These are the anonymous sources that are leaking to the mainstream media. The anonymous sources familiar with the matter that don't want to have their name published for fear of retribution. This is the retribution we just got. And it was Ron Paul, not Rand Paul. What did Badlander fans say? Gotta let it flow. Best comment. Sorry, I was trying to catch up. I missed something. Anyway, yeah, so this is a crazy story, and probably next week, since I'm not going to have a show tomorrow, Friday, we'll get Gabrielle on to comment on this, and I'm sure there'll be developments over the next couple days and weeks. Just checking the time here. What am I at? Okay, I got 14 minutes. I should be able to. Should have plenty of time. Trump White House removes wire services from permanent press pool. Wire services such as Reuters and Bloomberg News will no longer hold a permanent position in the small group of reporters signed to cover President Trump, the White House announced Tuesday. Traditionally, the pool includes roughly 10 news organizations that accompany the president to events in the Oval Office and on domestic and international trips, providing immediate coverage of statements and exchanges. Wire services, which play a key role in distributing fast, real-time reporting to other media outlets, have typically maintained a consistent presence in the group. Under the new policy, wire services will now be placed into a broader rotation with around 30 other newspaper and print organizations losing their standing as permanent pool members. According to guidance shared with Reuters, Press Secretary Carolyn Levitt will now determine the makeup of the press pool on a daily basis. A White House official said this change is intended to ensure that the president's message reaches targeted audiences, that outlets with applicable subject matter expertise are present as the events warrant. And then the official also stated that eligibility for pool inclusion will not depend on an outlet's editorial stance. I would love to participate in this, and not even just us or Badlands personally, but the new media that they said they were going to give us, which we haven't received yet. That's what I would like to see at some point. So that's cool. But yeah, screw the mainstream media, screw Reuters, screw Bloomberg. I'm glad they're out of there, but they're still in the rotation. They're just not permanent fixtures. So it's better than nothing, but not as far as I would take it. But I'm not in charge. I get it. And this is the big news that I think S. Scheisler was saying in the chat. The Pentagon's tech team resigns en masse under pressure from DOJ. Nearly the entire staff of the Defense Digital Service, DDS, the Pentagon's Rapid Response Tech Unit, is resigning by the end of April, following pressure from the Elon Musk-led Department of Government Efficiency. The resignations will effectively shutter the decade-old office, with its functions to be absorbed by the Pentagon's Chief Digital and Artificial Intelligence Office. That's interesting. Created in 2015, it was known for fast-tracking technological solutions during national security crises, developing tools during the Afghan withdrawal, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the reason this is a pretty big story, at least for us in our little, community or corner of the truther movement, whatever, is because of this. I got to find the post here. Okay, so Kat the Great posted this on Twitter. The Defense Digital Service team resigning en masse today. They were behind the secretive Pentagon pilot program that transferred millions of government IP addresses minutes before Trump left office in 2021. The plot thickens. Yeah, so this goes back to the global resource systems. We used to talk about this in the Power Hour a lot way back in the day when it first kind of came out. I mean, it first kind of came out in like April of 2021. So that was before I really started my series. But this topic got brought up a lot because people were trying to figure out what happened here. Like, what was the point of this? And on the Power Hour that we're going to record right after the show, and it'll play tonight, we're going to talk about some older articles and some older kind of nuggets of information having to do with the IP addresses. Because even before the show, I was almost going to read it on the show, but I went back and I found some some things that I had forgotten and how it ties to devolution, Executive Order 13961, some very interesting things. We're going to go through that tonight. So make sure you guys tune in to the Power Hour. But this is interesting. They're getting fired, and it just reminds us of the IP addresses, and we still never really have or have received a resolution of like what happened with this. We don't know. We're just told what we're told. But this entire entity, this global resource system, it was spun up and created, at least it appears on the surface, just to receive those millions of IP addresses, and they sent them back shortly thereafter. What was the point of it? So we'll discuss that a little bit here later. I just got one True Social post from Trump that I wanted to read. Japan is coming in today to negotiate tariffs, the cost of military support, and trade fairness. I will be attending the meeting along with Treasury and Commerce secretaries. Hopefully something can be worked out, which is good, great for Japan and the USA. And then, again, talking about tariffs, taking in record numbers in tariffs. I think that's all I got. Let me see if there's anything that like broke in the last hour that we've been live. I don't know if you guys have been following this story. I don't think I've mentioned it yet. This Carmelo Anthony, he stabbed this Austin Metcalf kid. They were at a track meet or something and kind of got into a little kerfuffle in a tent, and then the guy just pulled out a knife and stabbed him. He got put out on bond, $250,000 bond, and he's been using money now, funds raised, and he's like in a $900,000 home, gated community, new car. He's getting a lot of money for after what he did. People are raising a lot of money for him. He's become a face of, it's just like the new George Floyd in a lot of ways. And I don't know if there's, Twitter announced that DMs will be removed soon, placed with XChat. That's interesting. Oh yeah, the manipulate time and space thing. I'll talk about that later tonight. I didn't go into much detail, but that'll be on the Power Hour. Okay, I think that's all I got. So I'm gonna read through a couple. Check my text from Ash. I like when she pays me $1 to check my texts. Ooh, something to do with okay, let me pull this up. I'm gonna watch it with you guys. Okay, right here. Tisha James is losing her mind as reports are coming out that Donald Trump's DOJ is targeting her. Look at her insane body language as she claims that Hakeem Jeffries, as Speaker of the House, will save her.
My mission is clear. I'm focused. I'm prepared. I'm ready. I've been trained by the best. I went to Howard University that overturned legal segregation in this country. I've been taught in those classrooms where Thurgood Marshall once taught. I'm not afraid of no president. Donald Trump, we're ready for you. We're coming for you. We're standing up for you. We're fighting on. We're not going down silent. Victory, my friends, is clear. It's now. And I'm not waiting 4 years. I'm waiting 2 until a speaker by the name of Hakeem Jeffries comes to bring us some rest. Come on, ladies. It's up to us. We saved this democracy before. We'll save it now. Let's go.
What the hell? That was insane. By the way, is she like cross-eyed or lazy-eyed? Kind of looks that way, but that's neither here nor there. That was crazy. She's freaking out. Did she give away that Hakeem Jeffries is going to be the president? Is that just who she wants? Is that who's going to run? That was a great clip, though. I'm glad you spent $1 to text me that and remind me of the text, whatever. That was fantastic. People are insane. But the best part about it is, like, I bet the Trump administration, they can cite what she went after them for in that case, in the case they're bringing against her, mortgage fraud, to get more favorable loan terms. It's just so stupid. But yeah, these people are insane. They're going to jail, Letitia. Anyway, Oh, Speaker Hakeem. I see what you're saying. Yep, that's biggie. 2 years, Speaker. Duh. That means they think they're going to win it back. That means they think they're going to still have their election fraud system in place. So hopefully that's not true. A couple rants here. Cranop, John, passing through. Watch replay maybe in Sana again today. Getting things set up for 3 weeks stay in Mexico. That sounds like a good. Hopefully you're going there for vacation, a little rest and relaxation. But good to see you, man. And then Ash, check your text. I did. So we're all set. We're all done. So please hit that thumbs up. Greatly appreciate it. Make sure you're tuned into the Power Hour tonight, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. What else we got today? I think that might be it. What day is it today? Wednesday. Matt Trump should be on. Altered State. Badlands Live is right now. Last night we had Only Lands and Story Hour. They had General Quast on, so I'd urge you to check that out. But yeah, on that, you guys have a great rest of your day. I will see you later on.
0, 1,
Read all about it.
2, 3. Let's get started.
That's what she said.
Oh, that's real good.
Why they stopping me? Stopping me.